Hello and welcome to today's Facecast. I occasionally, about a dozen times a year I suppose, get to take a wedding, and it's a great privilege and a great joy to do so. Had one just the other day and got one coming up in a few days' time. Weddings, it's kind of the season for them now, isn't it? And certainly now that we're coming out of lockdown, all those weddings that have been put off for a year are suddenly happening this year, so the calendar's quite full of them. And at weddings, apart from all the things that I talk about, one of the things I talk about, of course, is love. Because you've usually got two people there, at least two in the crowd, bride and groom, who are in love with each other. And they are coming together in a wedding ceremony to celebrate their love and to join in holy matrimony. Here is a passage about that thing called love. It's in a letter that John wrote. It's the first letter of John, chapter 4, verse 7 and 8. Dear friends, let us love one another, for love comes from God. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. Whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. Bit of a tongue twister, isn't it? Dear friends, Paul's saying to these people, this church that he's writing to, let us love one another. That's how we should be living our lives, loving other people, loving those neighbours and friends, those people, especially those we find it hard to get on with and don't love too well and too easily. Let's love one another because, he said, this love that we have for each other, that's something that comes to us from God. He showed his love to us by letting his son Jesus die on a cross for our sake. Love comes from God. And then he says this very profound thing. Everyone who loves has been born of God and knows God. So to have love in our lives, in our hearts for other people and from other people, to have that understanding and experience of love means that we are connected to God our Father somehow, because that's where love comes from. If we're without love, then we don't know God. We're not connected to him. Do you know love in your heart for people and from people? Is love part of your life? Celebrate it each day if it is. Whoever does not love, and then he goes on to say, whoever does not love does not know God, because God is love. Did I say that bit? But that's important, isn't it? Whoever does not love does not know God. So if there are times in our lives when we're not expressing love, when we're being particularly unloving and unhelpful and inconsiderate towards other people, then that's an expression of us being separated from God. If we are close to him, we're more likely to be loving towards those around us. If we're far from him, we're not likely to be loving towards those around us. Where do you stand? Are you a person of love? Do you show love and reflect love, the love of God in your heart and life to other people? It's something we should all be and be doing. Sometimes we find it difficult to do that, don't we? To be as loving as we need to be and should be. Give it a go today. Be a bit more loving towards those that you meet. Take care. See you soon.